Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Dogecoin, what has happened to it recently, and where we predict the price to go to in the near future with some key price levels and some trades I'm looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel and you're one of the 88% of people that watch my videos and have not yet subscribed, and you do like this content, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So without further ado, let's talk about Dogecoin and what has happened. So annotations back on the screen, and I think you can tell why I'm really excited here on Dogecoin. And yes, if you guessed it, congrats to you. Basically, we are very close here to our yellow line, this long-term resistance that we've had on Dogecoin that's been here since November the 1st. Of course, as you can see, the price every single time has come up to this yellow line, has just shot straight back down. So there's countless instances where this has happened. We've got one in this region, two in this region down here, not quite with these two peaks here. We had this FTX fallout caused the Dogecoin price to go down to 7.2 cents there, and now we've come back up into this region, and several times over the past few days, you can see here where the prices come up to touch this resistance. And of course, Dogecoin now has the opportunity to make its mind up. Is it going to go and head through this trend line like this, or is it going to bounce off like it has done the previous 5 times and go in this direction? So this is something we are constantly monitoring here right now, because if this is the case, we do go through this trend line, this yellow trend line like this, then the chances are we'll also probably go through this 100-hour moving average. So there's a very important moving average here, the 100-hour one, which has been respected quite well here on Dogecoin. So if the price does break through this resistance here, then I'd expect something that looks like this, for example. And of course, that will send the price above the 100-hour moving average, send the price across this trend line here. And what we should see is a very, very nice pump here on Dogecoin. Of course, I do also think we're forming some sort of chart pattern. So we have this key level here at around this region that I'm keeping my eye on, and obviously if we break out of this trend line like this, we could also be breaking from a triangle that looks like this, bound here by yellow, bound here by orange. And I've drawn the line there like that because if I draw the Fibonacci levels here, which show us where there's going to be some support and resistance, we can see that we have a 0.236 fib basically intersecting the lows here of this price over the past week or so. We obviously had one time when the price really did drop below, but generally speaking, this 0.236 fib at around the 8 cents mark. This isn't perfect, but it's close enough. And basically it formed a very nice support here. So we can say this is the support of our triangle. And if we do break through that trend line there, we can see a price target immediately, in my opinion, of this distance here. So this distance should be the break through this trend line, and that would take us to around 10.2 cents. But I don't think we'll be quite done there. I do think the final price target that I'd be looking at, if we do go in a more bullish direction, would be in this region here. So I'd be looking at an ultimate price target of nearer 11 cents, because we have to understand, if we do break through this trend line, then we've broken the curse of this downtrend that's been in play on Dogecoin for the past 2 weeks, and it's a very significant event. So of course, I'd be looking for an increase in volume, I'll be looking for an increase in momentum, and if we do see those, if all the technicals check out well, then I would expect the price to hit around this 11 cents region here. And of course, another way we could draw this triangle, something that I have noticed, is that we can connect the lows of the price in this kind of fashion. So instead of following the Fibonacci level there at around the 0.8 the 8 cents mark there on Dogecoin, we can be following a triangle that looks a little bit like this. So if you watch my previous video here on, and of course it is by no means perfect, but if we are following a triangle like this, then the implication of that, in the same way as the previous triangle I showed you, is the first test of the support and resistance. And thus, if we get a breakout, that actually should put the price target at 11.5 cents here on Dogecoin. So very exciting stuff. I'm really just looking at what happens in this region here. In terms of timeframes for you guys, you can see that we're probably going to get a decision made in the next hour or so. Of course, we're really right by this trend line now, so really only 2 things will happen. One, we get rejected, and if we do get rejected, the price is just going to go down and hopefully and possibly retest this 0.0 this 8 cents level here at that fib that we saw, or we're going to see a breakthrough from this trend line. And if we get that second scenario where we break through the trend line, then all the price targets that I just mentioned are ones that I would be looking for here on Dogecoin now. Things on the MACD and the RSI on the 1 hour time frame are looking reasonably good here as well. Nothing too revealing about the actual lines themselves, apart from the fact that, you know, we can generally say that the buyers are slightly in control. We've seen the green bars on the histogram here. The MACD line and the RSI line are above the halfway, so above 50 just about here on the RSI and above the 0 line here on the MACD. So we're generally in positive momentum territory. The momentum is slightly bullish rather than bearish, so that's obviously a good sign, and it does look ready for a large price move too. But otherwise the readings are relatively calm, and of course that's quite good because with every consolidation we tend to get large price moves. So the fact that we're consolidating here like this is like a calm before the storm. Movements are quite calm in anticipation for a large event here on Dogecoin, so that's good to see. And of course, on top of that, I'm looking at what Elon Musk does as well, because remember, if this man says anything here about Dogecoin, then we should definitely see some sort of pump. The last time Elon Musk said something was on an AMA, so that was on Twitter there, and when he said Dogecoin to the moon in that AMA, basically the price of Dogecoin shot up around 20% there. So if that guy utters any single word, that could easily drive the momentum required to break through this trend line here and find ourselves in a new trend, out of this bearish curse and into some sort of more bullish trend. And in addition to that as well, I'm checking what the overall cryptocurrency market is doing, because there's still quite a lot of heat on the cryptocurrency market since the FTX fallout. Obviously, it's been quite calm since that point there on Dogecoin. Of course, you can see the candles back here are a lot more violent. But now the waters are calm and the cryptocurrency markets are generally a lot calmer. Of course, we can check Bitcoin here, which is the tune of the whole cryptocurrency market. So if Bitcoin makes any major move in a bullish or bearish direction, or if it changes trends, then the chances are we will see that bias here in altcoins such as Dogecoin as well. So of course, at the moment, what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right here is some sort of triangle that looks like this. Of course, with a triangle, we can either see a bullish breakout or a bearish breakout. And at the moment, I do think Bitcoin is in a similar scenario to Dogecoin. We're seeing relatively calm price movements, bar a few major triangles such as this one, a few major candles such as this one here. We're seeing relatively calm movement compared to how it was just a few days ago. So of course, if we are seeing this triangle on Bitcoin and we do see a breakout to the upside from this triangle, that's going to be a very bullish move with a very bullish price target, and that is going to have an influence on Dogecoin as well. It's going to make it much easier for Dogecoin to break through that trend line and head to our price target of 11 cents there. So I'm really watching what Bitcoin does to this trend line here, because we have this trend line, our resistance on Bitcoin, been in play now for the past 5 days, so it's quite a well-respected one on Bitcoin. So if we do break that on Bitcoin and we see a major move up, then we're going to see a major move up, probably see a major move up on Dogecoin as well. However, as we know, triangles can go both ways. So if the price of Bitcoin, instead of going past this resistance into this bullish direction, does something like this where it tests that support again, then it's going to be a bit harder for Dogecoin to be bullish. It's going to add a bearish bias here, and therefore I wouldn't be placing any long trades or expecting Dogecoin to make a major move in this direction. What we could potentially see instead, if Bitcoin does do that bearish move, is something like this, where Dogecoin just continues its sideways price motion. And in that respect, I'd be looking for a longer term triangle that looks something like this. Of course, it's not perfect and I might need to change that when we do get some new price data in, but I'll be looking at a longer term triangle, which is what I think will happen if Bitcoin just falls down back to this 15,900 level. However, if Bitcoin continues to break below that 15,900 level and falls lower, then I would expect Bitcoin to actually hit around the 13,200 mark. And of course, if Bitcoin were to do that at any point, so if we lost 15,900 on Bitcoin, I do think 13,200 would be next. And of course, Dogecoin will not be bullish, because a Bitcoin move to 13,200 will be bearish for the whole cryptocurrency market. So if Bitcoin were to do that, I'm definitely not looking at any long possibilities, and I think Dogecoin will probably follow this trend down that's been dictated by this yellow line here. And of course, that would mean that we get a full retracement back to 5.9 cents on Dogecoin. But that's only if Bitcoin does not hold this 15,900 level here. So that's something I'm monitoring constantly. And I do find it to be a little bit troublesome, because if we go back in time, let me just show you these. Let me just show you this on Bitcoin. Basically, on Bitcoin, we had a very similar scenario back in the May of 2022, when we saw Bitcoin plunge initially from that 40,000 mark to 26,000 right after that lunar crash. And basically, Bitcoin was in this sort of triangle in this region. It lasted around 3 weeks here. And basically the result of that was that the price started coming below and didn't stop. So we saw a similar triangle here on Bitcoin. And obviously when it broke below from 29,000 to about 18,000. So I'm not saying the same thing will happen, but I'm seeing some similarities of the triangle formation here, just on a shorter time frame, to the triangle back there. So of course, that's something I'm very mindful of. And that's going to have huge implications here on Dogecoin, which is why I'm monitoring it so carefully. So that is what I have. Those are my observations here. Basically, I'm looking for any chart pattern really the price is going to adhere to. Of course, I showed you a couple of triangles. It could be, but we could change it based on the price data that comes in. And obviously I've showed you the chart patterns that I'm looking out for, that right angle triangle with a support that looks like this, as well as a second triangle that could look like this, that could be in play here. And of course I'm looking for any subsequent breakouts through this yellow trend line that we have. On top of that as well, I'm looking for a clear break of these moving averages, particularly the 100-hour moving average, but also the 200-hour moving average, this one in light green here. Of course, if we break through that, then we should see an increase in momentum and volume as flip from bearish to bullish here on Dogecoin. And of course, if everything works out well, then I'll be looking for that ultimate price target of around 11 cents. But I'm only bullish if the whole cryptocurrency market is bullish as well. So if Bitcoin breaks out of this triangle to the upside, then that's going to add that bullish bias that we need on Dogecoin to get up to this level. Of course, I'm also checking the news, any developments with FTX or something could plunge the price of cryptocurrency further as well. And I'm watching what Elon Musk is saying on Twitter, because remember, any tweet from that guy has the chance, any mention of Dogecoin from that guy has the opportunity to really pump Dogecoin. So I've got notifications on for Elon Musk there on Twitter. So that is all I have to say really on Dogecoin. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do let me know in the comments if you're holding any Doge, but otherwise I'll see you in my next video.